everyone. Welcome to the B-Side Breakdown. My name is Brett Johnson, and I am your host. This is a podcast where I talk to other artists, musicians, and songwriters about a song they've written that's meaningful to them, that they want to get deep into the why behind it's meaningful to them, and then we play the song in its entirety on this episode so you, the listener, get to hear it and see what we're talking all about. So today I'm going to be talking with an old B-Side Breakdown favorite, Jeremy Jessen, who's been in multiple bands on the podcast and the series. But today we're going to be talking about the song Doppler from his band Rad Owl, which comes out their new record, Rage Gracefully. So let's get into it. Here is Doppler by Rad Owl. All right, and that was Doppler by Rad Owl off their new record, Rage Gracefully. We're going to take a quick break, and we're going to come back and talk with Jer Jessen about the song, the new record, and everything that's going on with Rad Owl, so stay with us. All right, and we're back. Let's bring in Jer and talk about the song Doppler. Hey, Jer, how's it going, man? Thanks for taking some time to come back to talk with me.
Yeah, thanks for having me back, Brett. I think this is my third time on your show, so that's got to be up there, right?
Yes. Yeah, it sure is. And between you and your bandmates, I think you have, in the various bands, you sure have, a fourth of the episodes have probably been related to something that you've been working on. So it's always awesome to have you. And I'm super stoked about Rage Gracefully and the song Doppler. So yeah, Doppler is a slamming song, as all the listeners just heard, and it's so good. Tell me about it, man. Like, tell me about how did this new record come about? Why that song? Tell me what you can.
Well, I mean, I'll start with the song because the song has kind of a story all its own.
Awesome.
It's kind of a part two because we have a common thread with the two records we've made now where the first song on each record was the last one we wrote for the record, and neither was necessarily intentional. Like it wasn't like we're going to write the first song on the record right now. It just kind of happened that way in different ways. But specifically with Doppler, I think it was like toward the end of 2022 where Ryan Tate, our new guitar player,
Yeah.
had really kind of he'd really kind of acclimated to our songs, come up with his own parts, his own flavor, and we really felt like we were close to being ready to record, which took a while because we didn't want him to just join the band and like have me like show him parts and then just be like, all right, let's go record now. He's a far better guitar player than I am. So we wanted him to sit with the songs and get used to our vibe and become a member of the band, you know, because we started this band as like childhood friends with Ryan
Yep.
Felgen, and we all kind of had the same sort of communication style. And it took a while, I think, for Ryan to acclimate to that. But so around the end of 2022, we had like 14 songs. And we were like, all right, we're pretty much ready to go. But Dave always, you know, he always brings like an interesting perspective to the songs that I write, in that he'll always evaluate kind of all the different vibes that are going on the record even before it's recorded. Just
Sure.
and so he was like, I feel like we need one more like anthemic kind of fucking hit, you know, which is, you know, it's a loaded term, but anyway, like I was like, you know, I always have riffs that are sitting around, and I was like, okay, let's tack one more on to this group of songs. So I think I had the verse riff first, that kind of Stephen Edgerton,
Yeah.
like downstroke, kind of descendancy riff. And then I built the kind of the refrain riff from that. And then when I first demoed the song, just with, you know, just super milquetoast, like garage band drums, just tapping on a MIDI pad in my basement,
Yep.
I wrote that middle, like that kind of almost Megadeth-y
Yeah, totally.
middle riff, like I just with like a cut time, like halftime beat. Like none of the dynamics that are on the record were in that riff when I demoed it. But I was like, this is a template for us to be able to do, like we could do almost anything with this part. And just, you know, it could be a build up thing, it could be a straight up like huge bridge thing. It was just kind of like the sky was the limit.
Yeah.
And so once we actually put the song together and arranged it, it was just kind of like, yeah, this is the first song on the record for sure. And we had a few touch points, like, so Burgo, Dave, and I are all fascinated with this Scottish arena rock band called Biffy Clyro.
Oh yeah.
And they even though they're straight up like radio rock and just, you know, pop as heck, they always have these extremely musical like sections of their songs that would titillate any prog rock fan or Rush Rube, or you know what I mean? Like
Sure.
it's just riffy riffs and just awesome like stuff that you don't hear in pop music. And so that was the direction that I wanted to take that bridge. And then just kind of expanding on that, like the beginning of the song was the last thing we were like, the beginning and the ending, like those down, down, down.
Yeah.
Those were the last things we tacked onto the song. And it was very intentional, kind of homage to two specific records. It was Doughboys Happy Accidents with Countdown.
Yep.
Because Countdown starts with a chorus, and this song starts with a chorus. And then Big Drill Car Takeaway, because Big Drill Car Takeaway has that really just that extended A chord kind of thing that just introduces you to the song, and then it gets immediately melodic and just joyful. And that was kind of those were sort of the touch points, in my mind at least, for Doppler.
That's awesome. And by the way, your impersonation of Dave was like spot on. I could just totally see him saying that. Like that was amazing. No, man, that's super great. I love that story. And I'm glad that, you know, just to hear even how you approached as a band, just with Ryan joining and letting him get a feel for everything that you guys are doing and acclimate, like you said, because yeah, that'd be a tough thing to walk into, with you guys being lifelong friends. Here's this body of work and here you go,
Yeah.
learn this. It's like, okay, but no, that's super great that you did that. So I know I've been listening to this for a little bit. Thank you for giving me kind of that access, and I really appreciate it. But for everybody else, when did this actually come out? You just had a listening party, but was it actually formally released like last week?
Yeah, it came out on May 31st.
It did. Okay. And is it on, I mean, I know you can get it on Bandcamp. I imagine it's on Spotify and the streaming platforms everywhere else, but you're selling vinyl through Bandcamp as well, yeah?
Yep. So we worked with a label out of San Francisco called Sell the Heart Records.
Okay.
Andy Pohl, super, super great guy. And he's doing all of the vinyl mail order through Big Cartel. And obviously he's got a Bandcamp set up as well.
Okay.
But all that stuff is going through him. There are two variants to the vinyl. There's a really cool kind of translucent orange, almost gold, that really matches the artwork, which was again amazingly penned by our brother Virgo's little brother Justin.
Really,
has done
so good.
he's done the cover art for both our records.
Yeah.
And just both times just absolutely jaw dropping
right
stuff. So and then we have a kind of a Northern Lights sort of swirly blue for the other variant, and they both look amazing. But yeah, so those are available again via the Sell the Heart Records link on Big Cartel or on Bandcamp.
Got it. Yeah, because I bought it and I don't know which one I got, so I'm super excited to get it and see which version. But that's super great. Cool. So how did the Sell the Heart Records thing come about? When did that happen?
So Virgo had kind of sort of started a friendship with Andy just via the internet around pandemic times when Andy was trying to, desperately to sell all his band's records and keep everybody, afloat and alive through a really strange time in all our lives. And we just kind of kept in touch with him. And then once we were finally ready and we finally had recordings and stuff, we, started talking more with him. And it worked out where we could have him handle, mail order and US distribution. And then we kind of through him connected with Engineer Records in the UK and then Dingleberry Records in Germany. And we got some UK and European distribution as well through those guys. So yeah, it's been really great. He's super awesome to work with. And can't say enough about like all this stuff. It's very, very life affirming. It's just, I wish we could play more shows, I guess, because that's the only thing, but life is life. So we'll do it when we can, and we'll keep, chasing down whatever opportunities are out there for us.
For sure. And, I'm just so excited about that for all you guys. I mean, it's just it sounds so good. I mean, the record sounds so good. You guys sound like Rad Owl's really matured as your sound with your current lineup. I mean, you can just hear it. It just screams at me when I listen to it. It sounds amazing, and I'm so stoked that you got this vinyl hookup, and plus you got distribution in Europe and everything else. I mean, it's just, to me, it's just, I'm excited to see where this takes you guys, because it's so good. I'm just super stoked for you guys.
Thank you, man. It's it's exciting. I'm very happy with how everything is going.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. So then, so is there, I guess a couple questions. Other formats. So are you putting out CDs too? Are you putting out cassettes, or is it just vinyl and digital?
There are CDs. Yep. There also Sell the Heart at Big Cartel. And then, obviously just sell, it's at all the streaming services,
right.
Spotify, Apple, etc., YouTube.
Sure. So then what, is there I know you had your listening party on Bandcamp, but then are you doing like a formal kind of release show, or is there like a specific set of dates that you guys are going to play to kind of celebrate this now that it's out?
Yeah, it's kind of strange. We had that a couple weeks ago. We went out and played Boston and New Hampshire,
Yep.
and then Montreal
Yep.
for Pooza Fest, which is really cool. That was kind of like, even though it was 2 weeks before the official quote unquote street date, we had the records, so we were able to play a really cool punk festival in Montreal, and sell a few there, and met a lot of really cool people. But at the same time, as you may or may not know, Burgo and Dave are kind of Jon Snodgrass's rhythm section for a lot of his touring.
Yep.
So we're kind of just piecemealing shows in between when they're on the road with him. So we didn't really get a chance. We kind of missed our window on booking a quote unquote official release show in or around Minneapolis.
Sure.
So we have a couple of support kind of sets at Palmer's in Minneapolis this weekend, or Friday, June 7th. We're playing with Slow Death and a bunch of friends of theirs, Mikey Erg, Jon Snodgrass, et cetera, Lost Leader, just as kind of the Slow Death 15th anniversary. So, and then we're playing Palm Fest also at Palmer's in late July. But we are kind of tentatively planning an official kind of late release sort of celebration weekend over September 6th and 7th in Mankato, and then at Zora Darling, the new venue in Northeast Minneapolis, to kind of just, even though it'll be late, it'll be, hopefully we'll curate a bill with a bunch of really great bands, and that'll be kind of our late celebration for it.
No, that makes sense. Yeah, I look forward to that. I hope I can.
And then
Get up
obviously
for
we'll be
those.
down at Fest again in October in Gainesville.
Yep. Yep. And do you know how many dates you're playing that? I mean, are you doing one show? Or are you doing more than one? Do you know?
As of right now, I don't know for sure.
Okay.
I think we struck out on the pre-fest stuff in Orlando and Tampa. It was all booked up, so we're trying to figure out whether or not we're just going to go in for that show. But there are a couple of other things that we're sort of bandying about right now, trying to figure out when we can get out to Colorado, out to like Southern California, maybe the Pacific Northwest. Just we have so many friends in so many faraway places that if we plan it right, we can do this and still maintain, a not insane life, trying to be rock and roll band in our late 40s. But
Right.
that's just kind of that's kind of the way it goes. It's kind of the way we have to navigate these waters at this age.
No, I get that. I get that. One thing that I was also interested in, where did you guys record this one? Did you guys do a different process, or where did you go?
Yeah, so the first record we did basically in like a weekend, and then like a handful of extra days with Adam Tucker at Signature Tone,
Yep.
which I've recorded there multiple times with my old band technician and a line and stuff like that. But this time, it was basically we really wanted to get Dave's stuff done ASAP, because at the time that we were recording this, he had a really busy work schedule. It was things were kind of hectic for him. So we kind of took his lead in terms of comfort. He really, really enjoyed recording with Jacob Carlson at Deaf House in it's Lauderdale, which is a little like village kind of within St. Paul.
Yeah. Yeah.
And because he had recorded with Jacob for the Justin Pierre solo stuff, and then for Dead History as well.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, we did bass, drums, and like scratch guitar tracks with Jake, and then we moved over to Tree Speak in Northeast with Andy Matheson from the band Class of '86, who is a childhood friend of Ryan Tate's. And then we met Class of '86 when Rad Owl first started playing out. We kind of started, reintroducing ourselves to more of the pop punk and the skate punk kind of bands around Minneapolis that we hadn't really been interacting with
Sure.
in our other bands. And so Andy became a really, really fast friend that way. And we did all the guitars and vocals with him, which was amazing. Like we spent so much. He did like some little punch in guitar stuff. He did some backing vocals. It was, me, him, and Ryan just kind of throwing stuff against the wall. So that was super like creative and fruitful and really fun to just kind of, because I put a whole lot of backing vocals on this record,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
a ton of it. So, and not all of it worked. So it was like that was a really kind of creative sort of time in the middle of all this. And then we went back to Jake to mix it. And then ultimately Chris Fogel, who was another casual friend of Ryan's from Colorado, he was in the band The Gamuts.
Yep.
He did the mastering.
Got it. And I was going to ask about the vocals actually. Yeah. Cause the harmonies are just jumping off the record. And are you reproducing those live? I mean, is everybody singing in this, or was that all you doing all the vocals, or did everybody kind of chip in?
It's really all me and Ryan, and then some Andy. Live, it's just me and Ryan.
Okay.
And a lot of like there are textural things on record that we do not even bother doing live.
Sure.
That's just kind of another sort of lesson or pointer that I got from listening to those more like produced pop rock records like Biffy Clyro that I mentioned before is like,
Yep.
you don't have to. I mean, people hear it in their head, like as long as you're getting all the major melodic touch points, the rest of the stuff, it's okay if it's record filler. It took me a long time to get to that point. Being a punk rock kid, I was like, no, if you didn't, like if you
It's gotta be
recorded, you have to
true.
sing it.
Yeah. Right.
But yeah,
No.
no, we don't do all of it for sure.
Got it. Got it. Right on. That's cool. Anything else specifically you want to share about Doppler or the record?
I just like Doppler specifically, like lyrically. Again, it is definitely cut from the same mold that Hanna-Barbera was on our first record,
Yep.
and they were both track one. It's very much meant to be sort of a new beginning, kind of posi-core. Like I think about people like Dave Smalley and Down by Law, and
Yeah.
songwriters like that. They had a hopeful sort of anthemic kind of approach. And I feel like a lot of times I get sort of repetitive and bogged down in cynicism in my lyrics. So I did make a conscious effort with this song to it was meant to be a kickoff of the record in a positive fashion, and just kind of a thing that would just get people up and on their tippy toes, feeling good about where we're going. And that was the intent.
All right, let's take a quick break and then we'll come back with more with Jer Jessen from Rad Owl to find out what he's working on next. All right, and we're back with Jer Jessen from Rad Owl, and we're talking about the song Doppler and their new record, Rage Gracefully, that just came out and what they're working on next. So, Jer, I just wanted to check in more about kind of the road to Fest this fall. Because, I mean, I got my tickets and I live in Orlando, so I'm super stoked to come up and see you guys. But what does that look like for you guys? I know that you mentioned, Dave and Burgo are doing stuff with Jon Snodgrass. So is there kind of a run that's going to happen? Because I know you've done that sort of before where you played shows in Atlanta and then kind of came down. Is there any sort of plan like that?
Yeah, I mean it's not definitive yet, but it is a possibility. I don't think I think we're just kind of waiting and seeing how Jon wants to structure his travel, more so, because that'll kind of define how we go about doing our stuff. But I will say that regardless of whether or not we play shows around Fest,
Yep.
we are playing Fest, and there are a few other things for the fall that we're pretty excited about, bringing some old punk rock friends from out east back to the Midwest to celebrate a 30th anniversary of one of their records.
Nice.
I don't want to say anything more than that yet, but
sure.
it's in motion, and we're trying to fill up the rest of the year as best we can, just to have fun and play shows, and be excited about about this record being a reality, because it's been a long time coming. You know.
Yeah. No, that's awesome, man. Yeah. Well, I definitely look forward to seeing you guys this fall, and it just seems like that there's so much to ride high about with it just being out and all the good things that you guys coming up. So again, congratulations to you and the rest of the band for just all the work that you put into it and to make such a great record. And I'm just, again, stoked for everything you guys have coming up. So, yeah, man. Thank you for coming on again for like the fourth time to talk about all the awesome music you make. It's always awesome to have you on, Jer, and great to catch up with you.
Thank you so much, Brett. I appreciate the support always.
Yeah, man. Absolutely.
Three Crows Club presents B-Side Breakdown.
All right, and that wraps up another episode of the B-Side Breakdown. For those of you that think this was just recorded, it wasn't. We did this at the end of May, and it took me forever to get it out. So my apologies to Jer and the rest of the band for taking so long to get this one together, but life showed up, and here we are. Look forward to seeing you guys up in Orlando pre-fest shows, because they did get one, and I'm super stoked about it. Also looking forward to seeing them at Fest in Gainesville at the end of October. So if you're in the area, please come check them out, and please support Rad Owl however you can. Please go to Bandcamp. I think it's radowl.bandcamp.com, and you can find them on Instagram and everywhere else. Follow them, listen to their music wherever you can. Amazing dudes, amazing band, amazing friends. Can't wait to see them. I want to thank Adam Coulong and Carrie Bozel for helping me put together the jingle you hear at the beginning and the end of this episode. And please subscribe to this podcast wherever you get your podcasts. Unfortunately, I don't got anything else to push for the next episode at this time, but I guarantee you I will have something in the next few weeks. So thanks again for your support and for your continuing listening, and we'll see you in the next one. Thanks.